country is finally united under It was a strange night. It's not often you hear someone excitedly say, "It's okay, we only lost the House."
Yesterday was election day, and late night is now projecting the Democrats will pick up at least one seat at Thanksgiving dinner.
Democrats were riding high today, even though they probably lost the House, could still lose the Senate. It's like, great news, we didn't get beaten as badly as everyone expected us to.
Good morning, good morning. After the marathon, it's still going on. We could use a little humor, Good morning. We're so happy that you could join us this morning. The balance of power in Congress still undecided at this hour. Control of the House at this hour is still up in the air. On the Senate side, we'll go there first. The race now hangs on 2 states and a runoff. Talking about Arizona, Nevada, that runoff, of course, in Georgia. Which party will win control here?
Also, President Biden hailing the midterm results as a, quote, good day for democracy. Remember, that was his closing argument. This is Democrats did outperform expectations across the country. And the big question now, what does this all mean for 2024?
Timing is everything, and former Vice President Mike Pence seems to be taking advantage of what happened on Tuesday, reflecting now in a new op-ed on his new book that's coming out. On his final days in office with former President Trump, we'll tell you what he said about what went down behind the scenes.
You're definitely right. Interesting timing and a book. But we're going to start with the waiting game here. It could be days before, even weeks before all the votes are counted and control of Congress is determined. In the House of Representatives, Republicans are in the lead with 209 seats inching closer to that magical number of 218 that they need to win the majority. Democrats trailing 191. But take a look at the closely watched House race in Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. Republican Lauren Boebert is in jeopardy there of losing her seat behind Adam Frisch by just 64 votes. The race was not expected to be this close at all. And now you can truly say it's down to the wire. It is a cliche, but in this one, it really matters, and it is true. Harry Enton, our senior data reporter, is here with the very latest. Good morning. Good morning. Can Boebert hang on? Can Dems win the House? What's going on?
Oh, I was not expecting this at all. I'll tell you, I was quite surprised. I've never been in a situation where we haven't been able to call the House. You know, as you were saying, starting off, Republicans right now projected to win 209 seats, the Democrats 191. When we look where the parties are ahead, look at this, 220 to 215. How much closer could you possibly get? I guess you could get a little bit closer, but let's go into that Colorado race that you mentioned, right? Lauren Boebert, 64 votes, 64 votes she's behind. She has been closing, so it's possible that she could lose, but with some of those late arriving ballots, don't be shocked if she does, in fact, eventually pull ahead. But this is just an indication of how close these races truly are, Don. And it just gives you an indication that this is such a divided country. I mean, 220 to 215? My goodness gracious, Don.
Yeah. And what about, that was the House. What about the Senate, Harry?
Yeah, so let's go over to the United States Senate, right? And let's go to the call races. Republicans at 49, Democrats at 48. We know Georgia, of course, going to that runoff. Let's zone in on Arizona first, which is uncalled at this particular point. Mark Kelly, of course, the Democratic incumbent ahead, 51.4 to 46.4. We're always going to be watching Maricopa County because it contains the vast majority of the votes. We see Mark Kelly ahead 53 to 44.9. There was a slew of Maricopa votes that came in last night that was favorable towards the Democratic candidates. But we don't know about the rest of the votes. Election day votes that come in could be much more favorable to Blake Masters. So it's still too close to call there. Let's zone out. We're going to go to the great state of Nevada. Again, here, look at how tight this race is. Adam Laxalt up 49.4 to Catherine Cortez Mastow's 47.6%. Again, another big county we're keeping an eye on out. Clark County, Catherine Cortez Mastow leading there 51.3 to 45.8 for Adam Laxalt. That is well below the baseline Joe Biden, who won that county by 9.4 points back in 2020. But again, there was a late slew of mail votes, a lot of mail votes to be counted, tens of thousands. And last night, Mastow did very well among those. We'll see what happens as those votes, they still have until the end of the week to get in. We'll see what happens, Don. Really just so close to call at this particular point.
Watch your language this morning. My goodness gracious, at 5 in the morning.
I know.
That made me smile.
Yeah.
That made me smile.
Thank you.
For the second time in less than 2 years, Georgia is preparing for a runoff election that could decide the balance of power in the Senate. Democrat Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker both failing to secure 50% of the vote. Eva McKend in Atlanta for us, for CNN this morning. Again, here we are.